So we'll continue our discussion by answering problem 5-41 of your book. So Eastern Chemical Company produces three products. The operating results of the current year are as follows. So we are given the sales quantity, target price, actual price, and the difference between the target and actual price for products A, B, and C. The firm sets the target price of each product at 150% of the product's total manufacturing cost. It appears that the firm was able to sell product C at a much higher price than the target price of the product and lost money on product B. Tom Watson, CEO, wants to promote product C much more aggressively and phase out product B. He believes that the information suggests that product C has the greatest potential among the firm's three products because the actual selling price of product C was almost 50% higher than the target price, while the firm was forced to sell product B at a price below the target price. Both the budgeted and actual factory overhead for the year are 510,000. Excuse me. The actual units sold for each product also are the same as the budgeted units. The firm uses direct labor dollars to assign manufacturing overhead costs. And the direct materials and direct labor costs per unit for each product are as follows. So we are given the prime cost for products A, B, and C. The controller noticed that not all products consume factory overhead similarly. Upon further investigation, she identified the following usage of factory overhead during the year. So we have the cost pool, which is the number of setups, weight of direct materials, waste and hazardous disposals, quality inspections, utilities. So there. So the requirements of the problem is number 1, to determine the manufacturing cost per unit for each of the products using the volume-based method. Number 2, what is the least profitable and the most profitable product under the current and the ABC system? And then, what is the new target price for each product based on 150% of the new cost under the ABC system? Compare this price with the actual selling price. And then, we also have to comment on the result from a competitive and strategic perspective. As a manager of Eastern Chemical, describe what decisions you would take based on the information provided by the activity-based unit cost. Okay, so to determine the manufacturing cost per unit for each of the products using the volume-based or traditional costing method, what we'll do is we have to compute for the overhead assigned to each product. As you can see, we are already given the prime cost, so the only thing that's missing here is the overhead cost. So the problem stated that the firm uses direct labor dollars to assign manufacturing overhead cost. So what we need to do is to determine how much is the assigned overhead cost for product A, product A, product B, product C, and product C. Okay, so we have to compute for the direct labor cost. So how are we going to do this? We are given the direct labor cost per unit in this portion, diba? We are already provided with the direct labor cost per unit. So basically, the direct labor cost per unit for product A is 20 multiplied by the sales quantity. This time, it is okay to use the sales quantity as your basis because the problem said that the actual units sold for each product are also the same as the budgeted unit. So there is no discrepancy between the two. But if there is a different stated budgeted units for the product, you should use that. Okay? So we have 20,000 for product A. For product B, same process. So 12 times 5,000 units, we have 60,000. And for product C, we have direct labor per unit of 10 multiplied by 500, we have 5,000. Okay? So our total direct labor cost, total, sorry, is equal to 85,000. We have 85,000. Now, we are going to compute for the predetermined overhead rate. So the budgeted overhead for the year, diba? We have the budgeted overhead for the year is equal to 510,000. And then we'll divide this by the budgeted direct labor cost, which is our overhead application rate. This is equal to 85,000. So our predetermined or our factory overhead rate is equal to 6. Okay, so basically, for each peso that we incur for direct labor cost, we incur 6 pesos of or $6 of overhead cost. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is to compute, diba? Compute for the we can now compute for the total cost of each product. Okay, so we are just going to copy this first. So that it will be easier for us. Okay? So we have product A, product B, and product C. So again, for the overhead, diba? Our overhead application is $6 per dollar of or per direct labor cost, diba? So we will simply multiply 20 by 6, and we have an overhead cost of 120 per unit for product A. For product B, we have 12 multiplied by 6 will get 72. And then for product C, we have 10 multiplied by 6. This is equal to 60 pesos. So our cost per unit under the volume-based costing, volume-based method is equal to 190 for product A, 198.4 for product B, and 135 for product C. Okay? So that is our answer for number 1. Now, there is a way to check if what we have computed is correct. Remember, look at the given information in the problem. The firm sets the target price of each product at 150% of the product's total manufacturing cost. So basically, this target price, 285, 297.6, and 202.5 is based on 150% of the total manufacturing cost per unit. So if we are going to compute, so we have 285 target price of product A divided by 1.5 will get 190, 198.4, and 135, which is the same as the cost per unit we have computed here. So that is another way of solving for the requirement of number 1. Okay, so this is under volume-based method. Okay. Now, we proceed to the second requirement. So, what is the least profitable and the most profitable product under both the current and the ABC system? So, since we already have our cost per unit under volume based, diba? The next thing we're going to do is to compute for the cost per unit under activity based costing. So again, these are the cost pool, diba? Number of setups, weight of direct materials, waste and hazardous disposals, and quality inspections. So, okay, before I do that, diba? What should we do, diba? So, unlike the problem we have answered earlier, wherein binigay sa atin yung activity consumption, this time, hindi siya ibinigay. But don't worry because we can compute, diba? Total activity consumption. Okay? So, the total activity consumption may be computed as the sum of the activity consumption of each unit or of each product rather. Okay? So, sorry. Basically, we just have to add, di ba, kung ilan yung nagamit nila. So, for the weight of direct materials, we have 1,000. Waste and hazardous disposals, 100. Quality inspections is also 100. And then, yung utilities natin, we have 10,000 machine hours. And then, since binigay naman na sa atin, we are given the overhead or the cost of each activity, we can easily compute for the activity rate. So the activity rate is computed as by dividing the total overhead by the total activity consumption. So the activity rate for the setup is 900, 110 for the weight of direct materials, tapos 2,500 for waste and hazardous disposals, 750 per quality inspection, and 6.6 per machine hour for utilities. So we will use this activity rate in computing in assigning overhead to products. So this is very similar to what we have done in the computation of the predetermined overhead rate. The only difference is that it's a little bit more complicated because you need to compute for several activity rates, unlike before wherein the most you should compute for at least 2 or 3 depending on the number of departments if you are using a departmental overhead rate or a single rate, diba? If you are using the plant-wide overhead rate. But the concept is really the same. Very similar naman sila. Okay? So, since we have a lot of activity cost pool, diba? Or cost pool rather, we will compute first for the total overhead cost. Diba? So, product A, product B, and product C again. So, to compute, diba, I'll just move this here. So, to compute, what we're going to do here is we will simply multiply the number of setups spent in manufacturing product A by the activity rate we have computed, which is 900. So, we have 1/8. For the weight of direct materials, same. How many pounds of materials were transferred? I think this is multiplied by the activity rate of 110. For waste and hazardous disposals, we have 25 multiplied by 2,500. And then for quality inspections, we have done 30 inspections for product A multiplied by 750. For the utilities, we have spent 2,000 machine hours in manufacturing product A multiplied by 6.6. So we'll get our total overhead amounting to 144,000. This is for product A. So we'll repeat the same process for products B and C. Okay? So same process lang din naman. Number of setups, 5 times 900. Diba? And then weight of direct materials, we have 250 times 110. Waste and hazardous disposals, we have 45 multiplied by 25. Quality inspections, we have 35 quality inspections multiplied by 750. And for the machine hours, for the machine hours, we have 7,000 machine hours spent in manufacturing product B multiplied by 6.6 and we'll get 46,200. So the total overhead allocated to product B under activity-based costing is 216,950. Now, for product C, again, repeat the same process. Medyo naman siya procedural and repetitive talaga. So, as long as you know the concept and how to do it, I think you won't have such a hard time solving activity-based costing problems. So, we have, going back, 3 times 900, 27. 350 times 110 will get 38,500. 30 multiplied by 2,500. And then for the quality inspections, we have 35 times 750. And lastly, 1,000 machine hours multiplied by 6.6, our activity rate. So the total overhead allocated to product C is 149,050. Now, I would just like to show you that, of course, the overhead that we have allocated to each product for each activity is equal to the total overhead that we have here as well. So, pag tinotal din natin to, yung total overhead na na-allocate dun sa tatlong products natin, dapat 510 din siya. Kasi, yun lang naman yung i-allocate mo eh. Di ba? 510,000. Okay? So, now, since we already know how much is the total overhead cost, sorry, hindi pala dapat nakaganito to. We already know the total overhead cost and we are already given the cost per unit for direct materials and direct labor. I think it is best to compute for the overhead cost per unit para it will be easier na ma-compute yung total cost per unit or yung cost per unit of each product natin. So, the number of units we have, nasa na ba? Number of units we have 1,000, 500, 1,000, 5,000, and 500. So, we have, para lang nakalink siya, 1,000, this is 5,000, and this is 500. Okay? So, to compute for the overhead per unit, we have, syempre, divide 144,000, our total overhead, by the number of units manufactured. So, 144 for product A, 43.39 for product B, and 298.1 for product C. Now, this is not yet the answer. Remember, we still have the direct materials and the overhead cost. So, let us copy this and paste it here. Okay. So, our cost per unit under activity-based costing. For product A, we have 214,000. Product B and product C, we have 169.79 and 373.1 respectively. So this is the product cost. Okay? Now, to answer the question, ano nga ba yung tanong sa atin? What is the least profitable and the most profitable product under both the current and the ABC system? Okay? So, when we talk about profitability, of course, it is not enough to look at the cost, diba? Kasi we all know that profitability or the profit is the difference between the selling price as well as the cost of the product, no? So that's what we're going to do, diba? So sige, tingnan natin to ha. So under volume based, under volume based, we are going to get the cost of each product. Diba? Product A, B, and C. Product A, B, and C. So, yan. So, yung cost natin, not the cost. We get the selling price first. Diba? So, our selling price is how much? So, ang kukunin natin ngayon, not the target price but the actual price. Kasi that is the actual amount that we can get from selling or we can receive from our customers from selling. Lagay ko na dito para malinaw. Actual selling price. Yun talaga yung makukuha mo from the customer and not the target price naman. Remember, the target price, ang nagsiset lang din yan is the company. Diba? So, our actual price is as follows. Diba? So, 286. This one is 255.6. And then, for product C, we have 310. Okay? And then, our cost per unit under volume based is we have 190. Product B, 198.4. And for product C, we have 135. Now, we are going to compute for our gross profit per unit. So the gross profit per unit is the difference, of course, between the two. So 286 minus 190, we have 96, 57.2, and 175 respectively. Diba? So, again, alam natin to, in your senior high school, tinuruan kayo no, how to perform yung vertical analysis. Kasi mahirap if you are only looking at the figure. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin that one product is more profitable than the other. Diba? So, ang gagawin natin ngayon, para lang equal footing sila, we have to compute for the gross profit rate or percentage. Diba? So, to compute for the gross profit rate or percentage, we divide the gross profit per unit by the actual selling price. Okay? So, sige. So, using the gross profit rate as the basis, we can say that under volume-based costing, product B is the least profitable. Yeah. And product C is the most profitable product out of the three. Okay? Which is why, diba, the CEO or the man, sino ba to? Ano ba sabi? Sino ba yung may gusto? He believes that CEO, okay. The CEO wanted to discontinue product B kasi nga, as far as he is concerned, product B is the least profitable of all the products and product C is the most profitable. Diba? But that is based on the traditional, diba? Traditional or the volume-based costing method. Okay? Now, for the ABC system naman, of course, mag-iiba ng onte yung computation natin, di ba? So, I just have to copy this first so that it will be easier. Okay? And then, product A, B, and C here. Okay. Now, the actual selling price, of course, is not it will be the same. Well, we have 286, 255.6, and 310. But the cost per unit, we are going to use this na. 214, we have, sorry. Ay, ano ba yan? Sorry po. Wait. 214, 169.79, and 373.10. So we just have to copy the formula that we have used here sa taas. So based on this, diba? Syempre, just get the difference. 286 minus 214, that is 72, so on and so forth. So now, when we analyze, diba? When we compute for the gross profit rate of the products, diba? Under activity-based, this is not volume-based na activity-based na pala siya. Yeah. Activity-based. This time, tables have turned, diba? The most profitable product na is B, and the least profitable product is already product C. Okay? So, bakit siya naging least profitable? Ano nangyari? Kasi kanina, since we are only using a single application rate, diba, or a single basis for applying overhead, ang nangyari dyan is that dahil maliit lang yung ano natin maliit yung direct labor cost. Ito yan, diba? Maliit kasi yung direct labor cost for product C. It follows na maliit lang din yung na-allocate na overhead sa kanya. Kasi nga, yung direct labor cost lang yung basis mo But, when you look at the activity consumption of product C, diba? Actually, pag tinignan mo yung tatlo, A, B, and C, the activity consumption naman is not, kumbaga, hindi nagkakalayo. It's not that far from each other. Pero, ang problema kasi is that yung sa total overhead, when you look at the total overhead, ito po ito. When you look at the total overhead cost incurred, di ba? Si product B, 216,950 yung total overhead na nai-incur natin sa kanya. Pero, yung number of units that we manufacture out of this 216,950 overhead cost is 5,000 units. Si C, 'di ba? Siya yung second to the highest allocated overhead eh. 149,050 siya. Pero ang namamanufacture lang niya is only 500. So it means that it is harder, or kumbaga, the production process for product C is more complex than that of A and B. And therefore, mas dapat na mas malaki yung overhead cost na naka-allocate sa kanya. Okay? So, yun po yung sinasabi natin. Kasi kapag traditional or isa lang yung basis mo for allocating overhead, pag mababa yung consumption mo, kunwari direct labor hours or machine hours, mababa rin yung overhead cost na nasa iyo. Pero when you look at it closely, pag nag-activity based ka, it's possible na mas malaki pala dapat talaga yung na-allocate sa kanya. So, yun. Okay? Sige. Next. Number 3. What is the new target price for each product based on the 150% of the new cost under ABC system? And then we have to compare this price with the actual selling price. Okay? So this time, we are asked to compute for the new target selling price under activity-based costing. So, sige. Teka, dito pala yun. We just have to copy this. Copyahin na lang natin itong cost per unit natin dito. Kasi para mas madali for us, values. Okay. So, our cost per unit is as follows. Yan din naman yun. Diba? And then, syempre, sabi nga, we compute for the target price as 150% of the cost. Okay? Oops. Sorry. 150% of the cost. So the target price under activity-based costing, syempre we will multiply 214 times 1.5, we have 321. Same with products B and C. Okay, this is our new target price. Okay. And then now, we will compare, sabi din dyan, compare this with the actual selling price. Diba? So, the actual selling price is already here as well. So, kopyahin na lang din natin siya. And then, of course, we have to get the difference, diba? So, yung difference natin, ay, sorry. Bumabagal na naman yung laptop ko. Yan. Okay. So, ano nangyari? What happened? Any observations? Diba? So, ang nangyari naman this time, Ang nangyari this time, kanina, sabi nila, diba, we have to manufacture, nasaan yan this time? Eto, sabi dyan, sabi ni CEO, si product C na lang daw. Kasi, the actual selling price is higher, was almost 50% higher than the target price. Pero, pag tinignan pala natin, ano nangyari? The difference, diba? Kumbaga, ito, pagdating kay products A and C, diba? A and C, the actual selling price is lower than the target price, diba? Set by the company. Lalo naman si product C, diba? There is a very big difference, 249.65. Yung medyo sakto lang, yung target price niya sa actual selling price is only product B. So, under activity-based costing, diba? it is not, it will not be good for the company to close or to discontinue producing product B. Kasi nga, siya nga lang yung nami-meet kung ano yung profit, yung target profit for each product out of the 3 products that we manufacture. Okay? So, last, comment on the result from a competitive and strategic perspective. As a manager of Eastern Chemical, describe what actions you would take based on the information provided by the activity-based unit cost. Okay? So, as mentioned, 'di ba, it is not good to discontinue product B because it is the only product that meets our target profit requirement, 'di ba? And then, as far as product A and product C is concerned, I think it will be best to review, 'di ba? To review the actual selling price or to revisit the actual price that we charge our customers. Kasi baka naman mali, 'di ba? Or we can compare with our competitors how much do they charge for these products. Baka we are charging a lower price, baka pwede nating i-adjust, especially for product A since hindi naman ganun ka-material yung difference. But as far as product C is concerned, if this will continue, 'di ba? If this will continue, I think it will be best to discontinue product C. Kasi kesa naman you manufacture product C tapos hanggang dito lang pala talaga 310 lang yung kaya mong i-charge for the product. If you charge a higher price, hindi na siya bibilhin. O di might as well discontinue the product. Okay? So there.